We'll start with opening statement, and then we'll get some.
Just want to start by saying thank you to Bronco Nation for coming out bright and early this morning. It was awesome to see everybody out, the whiteout, have 35,000 people in the stadium bright and early. That was fun. That was a treat. Very excited about, the way a lot of guys performed today. There's plenty of things that, we could clean up as we watch this game film and move forward into conference play starting next week. But really excited the way we finished, most importantly, the way we finished in the fourth quarter. I was excited to see the defense, really in the second half there play really well. And, especially on the third downs, we picked it up on, in those longer down distance situations to be able to get off the field and put in difficult situations. We want to see the team work better together as a whole, in terms of starting in the second half. We go in with momentum and we come out and get a takeaway right away. We should be able to capitalize on that situation. Again, it is the simple things that we emphasize all the time that we will make sure that we do a much better job of taking care of the ball. Questions?
Explosive plays were notable in the first two games, but tonight you limited North Dakota to just 3, I believe. So, what was the difference? Again,
it's the players going all in. The coaches, players doing a really good job of really dialing it in to what it needs to look like. Again, with how we play together as a team and everyone doing their 1/11th, how we communicate in the pre-snap, how we make sure that we are in a great stance. Sometimes it's the most simplest things that we do when we're little kids that we get coached, like getting a great stance. See your keys, know what your keys are telling you. And the guys did that this week. They practiced like that. It looked like that in practice. We're going to have to continue to building. It's not all the way there. That we got plenty of room to grow, but it was exciting to see. We fended off some trick plays, some double moves, some plays that had gone for explosives. The team today tried to run the same plays on them, and we fended them off. I was really excited to see that growth.
How would you assess your offense through 3 games?
Well, most specifically today, being that we just played this game, I was excited like the way we finished as we just spoke. We turned the ball over way too many times today. We were much more explosive guys. Eric had his career high in receiving. TG was 18 of 29, so completion percentage a lot better. We had the turnover, on the bobble catch there to Riley in the second half, but overall, thought TG made quicker decisions, much better decisions, and when it wasn't there, he used his legs. So I was excited about that. I'm not going to keep talking about it. We're going to do a better job taking care of the ball. So.
The second half, the offense had 2 turnovers that kind of gave you a chance to get back into the game. Did you have any message towards the team on how to?
Yeah, we just said exactly what we just talked about. That's what I just said. We were pretty abrupt with the team about what we need to do, taking care of the ball.
The offense, we saw some wildcat. We saw the double pass. I mean, it just seemed like the creativity. Yep. What would you make of just kind of the mixing it up today offensively?
Yeah, we need to continue on with that. It was awesome to see us be able to use multiple packages, be able to use, be able to use wildcat out in the open field. We got to be able to do those things. We got to be able to use our personnel and put our personnel in certain situations. Be aggressive. I love the way we were aggressive and took a shot on 3rd and 1, down near the high red zone and capitalized on it. When we send those calls in, the execution needs to be on point, and I love the way that those situations got handled today. The double pass was awesome. We talked about all week with Chase that he's going to have the highest QB rating after that play, and didn't go for a touchdown, but completed and it was an explosive play for us. It was awesome. We got to just keep building that stuff in.
What do you like about the pressure you guys were able to put on their quarterback?
It's a work in progress, and we missed a fair amount of sacks today too. We can do a better job making sure that we're in the open field, even in the pocket. We call it the open field because the quarterback has the mobility to move in there. We got to do a better job of tracking and working to get on legs so that we can get them down. But it was awesome to see that we got the quarterback off the spot and we actually sacked him. It created some takeaways as well, which in turn too helps with the coverage, as we were talking about before. When you don't have to cover, for a very long time, it helps the situation. There were situations today where There were some trick plays or some double moves, and it was the defense working together. The secondary did a great job playing with eye control, using their techniques that they're taught, and we were able to get pressure, on the quarterback as well. That's what happens when defense, when it all comes together on a defense. You're able to limit the amount of explosive plays, and obviously like the way, as I said earlier, that we played on third downs, especially in the second half. We were much more efficient.
Eric today at McAllister, and what allowed him to do what he did?
Yeah, I mean, the message to him was like, that's what he's capable of doing, and now how do we stay humble? How do we stay hungry and continue to grow? Because we're gonna need to keep doing that. We need to keep finding those opportunities, and it's awesome to see him take advantage of them today. Being able to get another one, get Prince involved and get him a shot down the sideline. Those are the things we got to continue to build. Teams are going to load the box and commit a lot of guys to the box or pressure to stop the run. Then we've got to be able to have those types of answers.
What was the locker room like? And I mean, it's an obvious answer, but just to get the first win of the season, get the guys feeling good again after a game. I mean,
it was awesome. I mean, the guys, they deserved it. And again, there's things that we got to clean up from this game. There's things that we need to clean up. And the message is keep perspective, because we worked hard to get that win. We finished the game strong, and we are in there celebrating, and we are enjoying it. It was, again, we spoke about it on Friday. In the morning prior to the practice, we had a good week of practice. The guys worked last week. We're going to continue to work. They're competing. They competed better this last week at practice, whether it was the fun competitions we had, the team competitions, the group competitions, the one-on-one competitions. It's got to be built in every single day. It's going to be a high priority for our guys to come here, in the morning time and be ready to be urgent, to be focused, to be in meetings, because we're in conference play now. Every single day matters. Each day we get throughout the week to prepare is going to be a big deal, and obviously this week even more so, being that it's a Friday game on the road.
Your young guys, they get in, they seem to just make an impact. I mean, Marco, young dude, Ty Benefield, Eric McAllister, Prince. Is that one of those things where when they do that, it's going to push the older guys to be even better?
Well, like we said, coming out of the first couple weeks, it's been a process to work these guys in. No different than like for Ashton last year. Ashton, in the first couple games, you want to get a guy in and make sure he's confident, comfortable with what he's doing. Sometimes for those guys, the whole playbook for the true freshmen is hard. It's hard to handle. It's a lot. College football is different than high school football. And so to be able to work them in so that they can build the confidence and get going is what we're seeing again with a few of those guys. Like you said, Marco had a career high at 13 tackles. We obviously spoke about him in the last game, so that's 2 games back-to-back where we're seeing Marco do it. Awesome. And I promise you, Marco's the type of individual, ain't going to stop there. He's going to keep working. He's going to show up tomorrow and be ready to roll. That's what we need to continue to have, that consistency, that drive, that self-drive, is what's needed for the team to continue to grow. Ty Benefield's another young guy that has shown to do that in the few months that he's been here, and he played a fair amount today. It was awesome to see him get in there. Zion got to play a fair amount today, and he did a really good job as well. So, Breezy carrying the load in there for a little while. It was cool to see him step up. We'll continue. We got some other freshmen that are, again, they're behind the scenes right now, growing and thriving, and they'll be on the scene soon too. But competition at every single position is what drives this program.
You ever seen a guy make a 54-yard field goal and then a roughing the kicker penalty?
And that one hurt. That hurt. But we obviously were able to capitalize with a touchdown. But back-to-back weeks, I mean, it's awesome. And not to mention what he's doing on the kickoffs, and kicking the touchbacks. And that's just what he's doing when he's out there. I mean, how he leads the specialist group. He is in our leadership. Jonah is in our leadership group. And it's just awesome to see him with the consistency he has, the fun he has while he works, how diligent he is, how he works, but he also has fun doing it.
Ashton was out a couple drives there after that second fumble, but came back, got that third touchdown that really, started pulling you guys away. How'd you like the way he responded after, those 2 fumbles?
Yeah, I mean, to be able to jump in there and score, that was his package, obviously, that was called upon down there to put the ball in the end zone. So for him to jump back in there, it's part of the game. Things aren't always going to be perfect, but within the things that we can control and fix, there's got to be a high priority and urgency to get that done. There's got to be a care factor to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes, and he has that. So I was excited again to see, not only in particular that he finished strong, but the whole team did in the fourth quarter.
You look at, you only learn so much about your team in practice, right? 3 games in, how much better do you feel like your in-game guys that and just overall your team that you can lean on?
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here talking about we got some vets that are continuing to grow and make plays. We got a lot of young guys too, and again, there's things that happen in this game, like how we pressured the quarterback, how we took shots, how we played in coverage that we saw happen in practice. If you do it in practice, it's going to happen in the game. We've had our best week of practice this past week. In those specific areas, we've seen them carry over. And so, the diligence of how we move forward and how much we continue to grow each and every day, the game's 4 quarters. There's 4 practices each week. There's a Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a Thursday, and there's a Friday. We get the opportunity to be the best we can be for 4 quarters, one day at a time, starting with Tuesday.
With Breezy, I mean, you kind of touched on him earlier, but he was a guy that got on the field for just a few snaps last week, and I mean, to see him really be a part of the game, I guess how cool is it to see him kind of grow up right before your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, old Breeze is battling a little cold this week too, going around, and to see him, step up and do it the way he did today too. Just walking around with the sniffles earlier in the week, and then the maturity to see him push through that and get himself ready to go in there and to play. And again, it's a lot. There's a fair amount of alignments for our tailback. Our tailbacks don't just line up in the backfield next to the quarterback every play. So, a big part of that too is the protection game. That's usually where freshmen, it's a lot harder for them, to pick up these protections. But I love what, J-Mo's doing with our guys, not only in the run game, but I see it at practice, how much more efficient our tailbacks are in protection.
The Friday game coming up, obviously 2 road games back to back now. I mean, just this stretch coming up, it's a nice win today, but I mean, obviously you don't have a lot of time to celebrate this here.
We will celebrate it today. We will, because it's hard. Every victory needs to be celebrated. And then, thankfully we had an early game, right? So it gives us the opportunity to get organized and move forward in still some time. The reality is, tonight's Sunday night, and tomorrow's Monday. So for us, in terms of the week of preparation and what we got, so knowing what it looks like going into the season, when you go into the season, when the schedule comes out in May, some of these challenges that come up. Again, it's just worked out pretty well that today was a 10 a.m. game. I'd rather have 10 a.m. and get up and get rolling bright and early.
You hold an offense that's, been rolling the way North Dakota has to under 200 yards, especially when you have the struggles you guys had defensively the first 2 games. Just how much of a confidence booster is that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this team play other FBS schools, Power 5 schools, and move the ball, put some points up, do some good things. And our guys, they understood that. They know the type of team that was coming in here today. And again, just really proud, the defense, how they handled that. There was a variety of gadgets that we had to defend today, and that team right there, that offensive line that we faced today, that's a good offensive line. The toughness they play with, the mentality they play with, it challenged us today, and it was good for us. Again, it gives us an experience to learn and grow as we move into conference play.
Anything Taylor played today, Andy? I mean, got off to a little bit of a slow start, 5 of 11, but completed 13 of his last 18.
Right
around 12 yards completion. And that throw, his touchdown throw to Eric, I don't know if you could walk it there and place it in.
Yeah, that was a nice throw to Emac there. Again, the start, you obviously want to get off to a faster start, especially when we get the ball first, right? We want to be able to get going. We got our set plays that we know that are in the openers. We want to be able to execute those and be more efficient. But love the way we did. I mean, he did a good job with his decision making. What I do love is he did a better job when things weren't there today, pulling down, running, using his legs. And he's got to continue to do that. We don't need him to try to be anything that he's not. He's got the ability to extend pass plays with his legs. If if the read's not there, if the guy's not open, then change it into a run play.
You mentioned Jonah. James had another great day, over 50 yards a punt, having one of the best punters in the nation. What value, having a tool like that, what value is that?
Yeah, I mean, James, shoot, we missed a pin situation today. Otherwise, those numbers would be even better. Again, those guys and what they're doing right now, like they're detailed and extremely dialed with what they do and how they prepare, but they have a good time doing it too, and it's awesome to see. That's the way we want it to be. You got to be able to enjoy the work you do, especially when it's as hard as it is to put in each and every day to be your best. So it's cool to see the impact they're having, and as well as the guys around it. The protection for Jonah on the field goal team, we've dramatically improved that. I mean, we changed that whole protection in the offseason, and the guys have gone all in, and we've done a much better job protecting, especially as we go in the week. The protections on Ali. I mean, the guys are the teams that we played this far this season, and the team today heated us up on the first punt. I mean, they brought dang near everybody after that. So it's James having the trust and belief, in the protection, and our guys taking care of blocking for James, and then obviously being able to transition in the coverage. We got to keep building on it because it's been a huge weapon for us.
Anything else? The past two games, Bush has been up in the skybox, kind of being an offensive coordinator, but this game he was brought down to the sideline. Is there any reason why he was brought down onto the field for the offense?
Yeah, so we started the first half off, on the field, calling the game from the field. We wanted to get a feel for what it was like for him to be down there, to be able to lead, to be able to get us in rhythm and keep us, get us going early on in that game. And so we're not afraid to make adjustments. It's whatever's best for the team. And so it was nice to have him down there. Obviously, in the second half, he was able to go back up into the box. We'll move forward with what's best for the team.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Sweet. Thank you, guys.
I mean, it feels awesome. I think we've been holding teams like offenses like that. Just we did it on more of a consistent level today, and I mean, it's awesome just being out there with all the guys making plays and just really celebrating those.
You guys were able to put more pressure on the quarterback today. Just what were you guys doing that allowed you to do that?
Yeah, I think we put a little bit more emphasis on it today. Definitely the coverage in the back end, them being able to just stay on their one-on-ones and hold them off and kind of pull the quarterback up. Obviously, the quarterback was getting the ball out really fast, and so it was hard to get pressure on the quarterback in the beginning of the game. But once the DBs kind of just picked it up a little bit, we were able to get a lot more pressure on them.
Marco, without DJ out there today, how much more was on you, and I guess what was it like not having him out there?
Yeah, I mean, DJ runs the defense. I think it's pretty clear he runs the defense and communication, setting the tone, how he plays. Everybody looks up to him. He's obviously the captain of our team. Big step up for me, obviously, but yeah, I mean, with the guys that were in, the guys that stepped up, it was really cool to see a bunch of different guys make plays today on the front seven, back end. It was really awesome. I mean, it falls on the shoulders of everybody, but I think for the most part, which is why I love linebacker so much, is kind of viewed as the quarterback of the defense. And so kind of just setting that tone, getting everything kind of communicated, set up, seeing where our eyes are supposed to go is a huge part of what we do at linebacker.
It looks like every time on the sideline, DJ was talking with you and Bruce Simpson. What are some of the things that, maybe he talks to you guys about, and how helpful is that even if he's not on the field, he's still locked in trying to make this team better?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, just kind of speaks volumes about his character. Anybody who's not playing can just kind of just sit out and kind of mope and kind of be down, not be part of the game. But he was dialed. I mean, he's getting phone calls from Coach D, coaching us up on the whiteboard, or just kind of keeping us in it, making sure our head was on right. And I mean, it's awesome. I respect him a lot, and kind of just getting that feedback from him and was huge.
A lot of these guys that are making plays right now are either your class or even younger than you. Look at you and Ty Benefield, Ashton, Eric. What is it like? You guys were kind of some of the first recruits of Coach Avalos' tenure, and now you're getting a chance on the field and making the most of it. How cool is that?
It's special for sure. I mean, I think everybody's time just kind of comes at a certain point, and that whether roles change or not, everybody's kind of just stepping up and doing what they can for the brotherhood, and I think that just speaks volumes of how much we care about the team. I think the younger guys have really bought into the culture and the brotherhood here, and it's easy to kind of just step in and make plays when you prep the way you want to prep for the guys around you, and you practice how you want to practice.
After the first quarter, an offense is averaging 550 a game on the season, only getting 97 yards against you guys over the final three quarters. How pleased were you with the down in, down out consistency of your defense for the most part today?
I mean, it was huge for sure. I really don't pay attention to the stats too much while we're playing. We go in at halftime, get the adjustments from Coach D, fix whatever we need to fix technique-wise, coverage-wise, the kind of pressures we're given. And so, I mean, we don't really look at that until after the game, and we come in on tomorrow and kind of review that and see what we need to fix.
How big was that swing before halftime? You guys got the turnover, midfield there, and picked it up, and then announced you guys were able to score before half. And you could have potentially been down a longer tie, and instead you guys are up in the touchdowns there.
Right. I mean, it was huge for sure. I think our offense really took advantage of that opportunity and drove down the field, which was huge for us. I mean, same could be said about North Dakota. They caused a couple turnovers coming out of the second half. And we did our part as a defense to stop them as many times as we could. And I just think that speaks volumes of kind of just our offense and defense working together. Defense makes plays, offense finished it. And we made some mistakes on offense, and the defense kind of cleaned it up. And I mean, same goes, we made some mistakes for sure, and our offense really cleaned it up for us.
A couple of Boise State, the offensive turnovers up on the first play of the drive. What's it like as a defense? When you're just sitting down, taking a drink of water, and all of a sudden you're back on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how to describe it. You just kind of put your helmet on, and kind of, we always talk about next play mentality. So trying to get the guys fired up and make some play, kind of just do your job. Don't need to be a hero as a defense. Just do your job, stick to the plan, and just get it done.
Andrew picked up that fumble, almost returned it, and then Shea, thought he had a fumble recovery. It ended up being incomplete pass, but it looked like he was ready to return that to the house too. Is there kind of a sense on the defense that you guys, kind of, want to help the offense out? You want to score? Is that kind of something that you guys were actively thinking about today?
No, I mean, we just want to make plays, and part of it is that exactly. We've always practiced about any ball on the ground, you pick it up and don't leave it in the ref's hands. So it's just it's kind of the identity of our defense is we're always trying to create takeaways. We're always trying to have elite communication, eye control, and really just get after these guys.
I met that as the second half today. I know that you were obviously pretty close with him. What's it like to see him have that taste of success, I guess?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, he's one of the hardest workers I know. Really good dude. Can't say enough about his character. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome just seeing him make plays. Him, anybody else on the team, really, seeing them make plays and just kind of celebrating with each other. It's what we've been working hard for. So it's awesome to see it come to fruition.
No defensive lineman had a sack coming into this game, and there were 6, not all D linemen. But was it different ways that Coach Danielson was drawing up pressure, or were your guys just kind of finally winning those one-on-one battles?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a mix of both. Kind of just getting that extra work. I know the D-line has been getting a lot of extra work, pass rush, and transitioning from run to pass. And then, like I said before, coverage. I think the guys covered really well today. And kind of just having the quarterback hold the ball for just a little bit longer, and our guys got there.
To hold an offense like that under 200 yards, your coach was just saying, they were throwing tough things at you. It wasn't an easy task. How much confidence that give you, especially going into conference play?
It's a lot of confidence. I think we've had a lot of confidence this year. Like I said before, it's just the consistency aspect of things, and I think we showed that a little bit more today on defense, which was awesome. And yeah, I mean, kind of just less than 24-hour rule, because we got a quick turnaround. So kind of just celebrate the win and kind of get ready for next week.
Anything else?
Everyone who spoke to in this program through the first 2 games really said that the effort and the care was there, but obviously the result is not what we wanted. So how good does it feel to have the effort and the care actually get the result you want?
It's awesome. I mean, there's not really many ways to describe it. It's just awesome. We put a lot into it, mentally, physically, a lot of hours in here, and a lot of guys just banged up all the time, just football. So it's an emotional game for sure, and just to kind of see everybody smile in the facility after the game is just awesome to see. Yeah.
And to see him continue to kind of grow and make plays for you guys, how impressive is it you were once in kind of those shoes, but he's doing this in a 3-month span and turning around and playing. How impressive is he and what's he capable of?
Right. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's very hard worker, very humble kid, which is what I love about him. And I've gotten to know him a little bit outside of football. He's a really good dude, and just to see him out there is impressive. I mean, that's all it is. It's just really impressive. He's a really special dude, football player. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes for sure.
What makes him a good dude?
I mean, just the way he carries himself in the facility. Just super humble guy. You'll never hear anything out of him. And he just puts his head down and he works, and obviously it's showing up. So, yeah, guys in the facility love him.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It felt kind of great getting TG back there comfortable enough to throw the ball. Receivers getting space, and just allowing our offense to move up and down the field. First half was great. Second half was not what we expected, but we kept going and we put points in the end zone.
You're a guy who probably thinks you can catch any ball, any route you can get it. To have a day like this where the ball comes your way and plays, how satisfying is it?
I mean, it was a great day. First half, great. TG was giving me the ball a lot more. I'm happy to get involved more in the offense. Happy to get Prince the ball finally. I was excited when he caught the ball. Second half, Billy got him one. Everybody was really getting the ball today. It was pretty good.
You mentioned in the preseason, you do want to get more involved, and it seems like now you're the, almost the top option for Kalen. So just how good is that feeling to be able to get your looks and be able to make the most of it?
I mean, me and TG always talk like that Texas connection, but it's always great to be his first read in some of the plays, and sometimes I'm not the first read, but I know to just run my route full speed, just get another guy open. So, but not only today, great day that he was looking at me a lot more today, and it just felt great. Man, it was great. He hit me in stride. Can't ask for nothing better than that. I mean, Miller in our meetings always talks about be the most physical receiver out there, and I think if you go out there and you run a full speed physical route, I feel like you can get open every time, especially when you're 6'5". So I just feel like it's always great.
After the last 2 weeks we've been hearing, no one's happy with the results. No one's happy with the results. You guys kept saying the effort was there, but have it finally come to get that win. What's that mean for you guys?
I mean, it feels great. Obviously, we're happy with the win, but it's not satisfied. We had a couple turnovers, but hey, we're going to build on that. But yeah, we're really just happy we got the win today.
How do you judge a game? And it's kind of like last week, this one where you guys win, but you look at all the mistakes, and there were probably 2 more that could have been interceptions, a couple fumbles, a quote-unquote interception. Like, how do you judge that, the mistakes against actually winning?
I mean, they didn't catch the interception, so really don't focus on that, really. TG knows that he just needs to be more poised in the pocket, don't force things, but he's a great QB. He's going to get those things down. Ashton, y'all never see that guy fumble. Turnovers are not his thing. He's so strong to hold on to that ball. It's just he fumbled twice. We told him don't worry about the play, just next play mentality. So we're going to get things fixed. We've always had those packages, and the reverse and the wildcat y'all saw today. The throw y'all saw today, that was always in the game plan. We were just waiting to call it. We called it, and it was successful. But it felt good to get those plays mixed in, because those play actions, those reverses, it keeps the defense on their toes and allows receivers to run full speed, and then the defense is always guessing. So yeah, it felt great.
You touched on it a little bit, but I mean, how was it to watch Prince get his first reception? You were in his shoes a year ago.
It was amazing. Me and Prince are pretty close, whether it's us sitting in meetings right next to each other or hanging out. Right after this, probably going to go hang out. But he's my best friend, basically. So when he caught that ball, I was excited. Probably sitting on the field, I was really excited. And we went to the sideline. I congratulated him. When halftime, I was like, it feels good, don't it? He's like, yeah, it felt amazing. Yeah, so I'm really happy for him.
Honestly, first 2 games, you haven't very many balls down.
Mm-hmm.
So what worked today? Has it been extra work in practice, extra attention, extra motivation?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Why did it work today?
This week of practice, linemen staying after, getting at it. TG just trusting that sometimes he's going to have to stand there and take a hit sometimes and just deliver a ball. And I think he's got that mindset now that sometimes I just need to sit there and take a hit, or sometimes I just need to trust that I'm going to have enough time to sit there and throw a ball.
He said he loved the way that Jalen also used his legs today.
Mm-hmm.
Something with it there. He was pretty effective speaking of what you see.
I think he was just more comfortable. His mentality today, he was like, if I need to run the ball, his legs probably the best legs on the team. When the ball's in his hands and he's running, he's pretty good at doing it. And I think he knows that, and I think he showed it today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Breezy, another Texas guy. I love to see it. He shows it in practice, so we gonna trust him in the game. So when he's hitting big runs, it's not nothing new. We see it every day.
You mentioned Texas a couple times. I know a lot of people in Texas
I think Texas being so competitive, and even in practice, there's guys on defense that are from Texas, but mostly our offense are from Texas. So like whenever we do something in practice, it's always competitive. Whether if there's a drop ball, next play, it's like we need to catch the next ball, or like even in one-on-ones when like I'm getting like pressed or like I drop a ball, I know next play mentality is just like we can't worry about the last play. It's just always competitive. I think that's what Texas is about.
You guys finally feel like you're finding your groove offensively?
I would say yes, we are finding our groove. TG's being more comfortable. Minus the turnovers, I think we play really good today.
Ashton came back, after I sat after it for a little bit after that second fumble.
Mhm.
Came back, scored that third touchdown. Just how hungry did you see him to kind of, make up for his mistakes earlier?
I mean, he's a dude. He's our guy. He comes running the ball. I was telling him on the sideline, like, those in the past, you can't fix those. I know how it feels to drop a ball or not go up and get a ball, so I was just telling him, like, just keep doing what you do, and we're right behind you.
You mentioned a couple times like TG feeling more comfortable. I don't know, if it was kind of he was thinking too much about the new playbook or just better teams in the first thing, but what specifically, what does it mean when he's more comfortable?
I mean, he's more comfortable, better balls. Really, he has like time and just to look at all three receivers, not just look at one, his first read and have to scramble, and I look at his second read and have to scramble. He can get through every single one of his reads, and I think it came from practice today. I mean, this week, him staying after just doing what leaders should do, and I think that's what made him more comfortable today, knowing that he's going to have time in the pocket if he trusts his lineman and trusts himself.
To be 0-2 have the game at 10 a.m. Against FCS Gold, run up almost a full house. So what was it like to have the crowd out there?
I mean, the crowd was definitely behind us. Obviously, our first 2 games didn't go the way we wanted, but obviously some of us are thinking, oh, it's not going to be a big crowd, but at the end of the day, it's not about the crowd, it's about us. But we love Boise State fans when they do show up. They're going to show up every time, and we love them for that.
How long you wait for a day like this? About 43 calling for one. It's a lot of receiving yards. Kind of had to wait your time. You got a little bit of PT last year, but that's growing. So how long have you been waiting for a day like this?
Since I was like 8 years old. This is a dream to come in here and always perform in front of your fans and for your team, especially when they need you. So I think it's been a long time coming. This is a dream of mine to be here.
Like catch a touchdown and you hear the fans go.
I really just try to soak it all. I really just try to soak it all in. Maybe dance, celebrate with the fans, like wave them up. But at the end of the day, it feels good. Try not to take those moments for granted, and then celebrate with my teammates. That's the best part.
Anything else? All right, thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome live inside Albertsons Stadium. Jay Tuss alongside Brady Frederick. Our Bronco Roundup post-game coverage continuing. You heard from Andy Avalos as well as Marco Notriani and wide receiver Eric McAllister. Both of those players, by the way, having their best days as a Bronco, but most importantly, I would say Boise State gets a win. They finish strong, and now they can finally feel good about themselves as they go down to San Diego to kick off Mountain West play against the Aztecs next Friday.
Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but there is a lot of stuff that they did really well and a lot that they continue to build on, a lot that they can still grow into. But it was nice to see, maybe the offense get a little bit of confidence specifically, maybe the defense limit the yardage of an opposing team and get some momentum rolling for this squad.
I know that Andy Avalos was not happy with all of turnovers for offense today, or on the offense today, but outside of that, it was a pretty good effort where you saw a number of guys contribute. True freshman Breezy Dubar, we talked about him on the Bronco Roundup pregame show. He actually led the team in rushing today with 62 yards on 10 carries. Ashton Genty, a little limited when it came to total yards. He's been averaging 182.5 yards from scrimmage coming into this game. 73 today, but he had 3 touchdowns. And then Eric McAllister, 143 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Talon threw him a beautiful ball in the second quarter, and then late in the fourth quarter, he puts the exclamation point on this victory with another big-time grab.
Absolutely, and that one coming from the Mad Dog, Maddox Madsen. The great thing that's been awesome about seeing him come in under much better circumstances this week to play quarterback. Talon wasn't injured. They just had a good lead and were able to put the backup in. It's hard when you don't play for 2 or 3 hours and you got to step in, but he's ready every single time. Threw a great ball to McAllister, got him his second touchdown grab of the day, and really slammed the door on this thing.
I think another thing that stood out to me on offense was kind of the variety that they use. We saw the Wildcat package a number of times today. Ashton Genty was the lead back in that lead feature in that package. We also saw a couple of trick plays. Chase Penry threw a pass that Riley Smith caught, but it just seemed like kind of a more honestly, Boise State-like offensive game plan that allowed them to have a little bit of fun, and they were able to eventually expose the fact that North Dakota, trying to load the box, slow down their running game. Eric McAllister and, Prince Strawn, a guy that maybe Bronco Nation is going to get a little more familiar with in the very near future, had a big day as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's extremely fast, extremely big. Got his first reception for, 26 yards? Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good way to start your BSU career. We talked to Eric McAllister just a second ago. They're great friends. He's very excited to see his guy get out there, especially in the shoes he was just in a year ago. He knows that feeling of getting the first one. I'm sure they want to keep it rolling out there. By the way, Chase Penry, great pass on that one. We've been seeing that in practice, and I've just been waiting for us to finally get it out in a game-time scenario because he's got a nice arm.
Yeah, that wasn't the only thing that they said. That they have been taking, doing some things in practice and finally taking it to game day, which I think is obviously the ultimate goal because you want to practice makes perfect, right? Talon Green, another guy that, you look at his stats and they might seem, somewhat modest. 18 of 29 for 188 yards and a touchdown. He had an interception. Definitely not his fault. Yeah. But, he got off to kind of a slow start. And, you wondered how he was going to respond. He was only 5 of 11 for 28 yards early in the game. But then he finishes, like I said, with a pretty decent stat line. Over the last 3 quarters or so, he was 13 of 18 for 160 yards. That's averaging a little over 12 yards per completion. Boise State coming into this game, again, we've talked about it probably ad nauseum, had trouble stretching the field, but it just seems like they're starting to maybe find some answers that they really need to find if they're going to have a successful season and make a run at not only 10 wins, but a Mountain West Conference championship. And the first step, again, on Friday against San Diego State.
Absolutely. And then, conference play, it always ramps up, and they got to do it on a short week. And I guess when you look at it, San Diego State, one of the more far distances they have to travel to. All that's going to cut down on prep time, although it's going to be nice out there for them. Yeah. One of the things I think really stood out, though, the defense, especially the young guys on the defense. Let's start with Marco Notriani, career high in tackles today. Forced that fumble that his teammate Andrew Simpson recovered. He did all this while DJ Schramm, the leader of this team, and especially on the defense, was sidelined for the day. Right. Step up to the plate big time.
Dude, this is a great point, and I want to hit on the offense, and then we'll really dive into the defense because you mentioned some of the young guys, right? Breezy Dubar, true freshman. Ashton Genty, true sophomore. Taylon Green, a redshirt sophomore. Eric McAllister, and again, another redshirt sophomore. Ashton Genty contributing in the passing game. Prince Strawn, a true freshman. There are some young guys that are all over this stat sheet that are beginning to get opportunities and really beginning to contribute. And I think that we're going to see more of them. I think for a long time, some guys hang around here for a little while, and longevity earns you opportunity, but maybe for only so long, because the competition will eventually win out, and we're seeing some of those young guys do it. But you brought up Marco Notriani, only a sophomore. Andrew Simpson, only a sophomore. Zion Washington, again, a sophomore. Ahmed Hassanin is a true junior. A lot of these guys are pretty darn young, and there are all the guys that are at the top of the stat sheet for either yardage or tackles. Marco Notriani, and we are finally saying his name correctly, by the way.
He corrected us on Tuesday very politely.
Very politely.
A little too politely,
right?
For how long we've been getting it wrong.
Should have given us a heads up earlier, in my opinion. But guess what, Marco? We're going to get it right now. 13 tackles. He had a sack. He forced a fumble. Andrew Simpson picked up that fumble. But Marco Notriani filling in for a sixth-year senior in DJ Schramm, a guy that is really the leader of this defense in every way, shape, and form. I was highly impressed with Marco last week, even more impressed with Marco this week.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's the buzzword we use all the time. The linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. And
Do we use it all the time?
We use it all the time. Our good friend Andy Avalos, who knows the life a little bit better than us, also uses it all the time. But the thing that you look from the sideline and you watch Marco go to work today, he's letting people know where they need to stand, find their run fits, all of that. And it looked, we don't know for sure, but it looks like he was doing a great job and had everybody, locked in, ready to take care of business.
Yeah, at the end of the first quarter, it was a 7-7 ball game. North Dakota had as many yards on offense as Boise State. Both of them had 86. From there on out, North Dakota didn't even have 100 yards of offense. And so Boise State really buckled down over the last three quarters, and down in and down out, easily their most consistent game of the season. Yes, they still have a few things to clean up. It's going to be interesting to go back and kind of look at the snap count of this game, because I also feel like Boise State is really beginning to figure out how to utilize their personnel on the defensive side of the ball the best way. A guy like Shea Oladipo, an absolute dude. Markel Reed earning more snaps as he continues to get healthier. And Jalen Clark is proven to be pretty solid at that boundary cornerback position. Up front, you finally saw some of the defensive linemen get home. I think that's going to be a massive confidence booster for those guys. And maybe a couple of sacks tonight or this morning will lead to a few sacks next Friday when they head down to San Diego State, because confidence goes a long way, Brady.
Absolutely. And, Boise State, for sure, expected to win this game, maybe expected to dominate, put up scores similar to that. But let's remember, North Dakota is a great team, and UCF and Washington, as we have said for a while, probably the best offensive line, wide receiver core, quarterbacks they're going to see this regular season.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. Boise State had back-to-back turnovers. North Dakota scored on back-to-back possessions with a short field, and it was a 28-18 ball game in the third quarter, with North Dakota a chance to go for two and make it a single-score game. And from that moment on, Boise State pretty much dominated the rest of the game. They really found a way to finish strong, and I think that was certainly encouraging, because 28-18 on the final scoreboard looks a lot different than 48-18 does. I think the latter is something you can feel really good about.
And I think that's actually something Boise State in the Avalos era has done a lot. It kind of reminded me of Utah State on the blue end of the regular season last year. They made it a game, and then BSU just pulled away and dominated, as we thought they probably should have going into it. But sometimes it takes a second to get going, and then they fire on all cylinders, take care of business.
Yeah. Man, what a turnaround it's been. We had Friday night football late last night, up early with the Broncos. If you missed any of our interviews from today or the post-game reaction with head coach Andy Avalos, linebacker sophomore Marco Notriani, or wide receiver Eric McAllister, we're going to get that up really, really soon. You can also, if you're watching on YouTube, probably just kind of scroll the timeline back, but just wait a second to do that, because I also want to tell you that we'll have highlights coming up tonight on KTVB, a full recap with more reaction from this game, and obviously we'll go even further in depth tomorrow on Sunday Sports Extra following the news at 10. But it feels good. Boise State back in the win column, and now they can finally get that monkey off their back and feel good about themselves and not worry about the pressure of getting that first win. Now they get a chance to chase their second win against a team that always rises to the occasion and plays Boise State well. But San Diego State hasn't looked, peak San Diego State so far this season.
That's the thing that is unfortunate about playing a rival. When you look at San Diego State on paper, they don't look great. It looks like a down year. But, man, is it going to mean everything to them to try to beat Boise State, especially on their own home turf. So I'd expect the best from the Aztecs on Friday night.
Yeah. So a complete effort. The Broncos finish off North Dakota. They pick up their first win of the season. Again, 42-18 the final. More highlights and reaction coming your way later this evening on KTVB Idaho's News Channel 7, as well as post-game reaction being archived at ktvb.com and on our YouTube page as well. So, congratulations, Bronco Nation. Go out and celebrate this one. You have 6 days to soak it up. A short week. Boise State traveling down to San Diego State for a late Friday game against the Aztecs. It has been a fun one. It's time to go get a nap, though, because it was a late night and an early morning. For Brady Frederick, I'm Jay Tust. This is the Bronco Roundup post-game show. We'll see you in San Diego, everybody.